Hello, and you're all very welcome along to the latest Champ.ie podcast, Ireland's premier horse racing podcast in association with Boylesports, Gowran Park Racecourse, EJ Menswear and Shamrock Thoroughbreds.
As they race up the hill towards the finish, Hart the Herald here on Perry Pass has absolutely bolted up under Paul Town, and Perry Pass won by wide margin. On the final 150 yards, it's Irish point for Marine National, who's coming with every stride. They're going to the line. Irish point, Marine National on the near side.
If you haven't already, be sure to like this video and subscribe to the Champ.ie YouTube channel, as it helps to get horse racing content out there to the wider audience. We look forward to reading all your hashtag 5cast selections in the comments section below. Enjoy the show.
Boylesports. Don't just bet, choose wisely.
Hello and welcome along to Season 6, Episode 14 of Champ.ie. We have an action-packed show as always planned for you. Delighted this week to be joined as always by Barry Doyle and Steve Ryder, of course, the man who produces the Oddschecker Weekly podcast. Great to have you along with us this week, Steve. And of course, we've got the show brought to you in association with Gowran Park Racecourse. We'll tell you about their great offer ahead of Thyestes Day, Boylesports, of course, EJ Menswear and Shamrock Thoroughbreds. Our very special guest this week, we'll tell you about that in just a moment. We'll be looking in a few minutes ahead to the 5cast races this week. We have the Graduation Chase at Ascot, the Long Walk Hurdle, the Grade 1, the Silver Cup Handicap Chase, the Handicap Hurdle, and the Tommy Whittle Handicap Chase. There are 5 races. Don't forget to like and subscribe and get your 5cast selections in the comments section below. Right, we're going to hear a little teaser from this week's special guest, Sam Thomas.
I think he's got to be right up there with the best we've had. He's the most beautiful mover. Like, covers the ground like you wouldn't believe.
Looking forward to hearing plenty more from Sam Thomas as the show goes on. Gentlemen, hello. And Barry, great to have another week of Champ.ie. And Steve, great to have you on the show as well as our special guest this week. And I know you do great work with your own podcast each and every week on the Oddschecker Weekly.
Yeah, thanks for having me on, lads. We had Hayley Moore and Johnny Ward on, so we had a bit of the Irish perspective over the Christmas action, and you've got some Irish runners this weekend at Ascot, particularly in that graduation chase we'll have a look at.
Yes, absolutely right. Barry, we're going to kick off and go straight into the action because we have 5 fantastic races to look forward to. And the first of those, of course, is that 150 contest. And Steve, as you're our special guest this week, we're going to give you first thoughts on the 2 mile 5 graduation chase on Saturday.
I thought it was a tricky contest, to be honest. Boylesports, I thought, kind of it shows really Rocco 13-8 and the longest price out of the 4 Phil Door at 4-1. So that shows how competitive this contest really is. I have my concerns around Iroko. It always concerns me when a trainer at the start of the season says we're targeting the Grand National. And you just know that they're going to be looking after the handicap mark. And he was ridden accordingly, I thought, at Haydock when he was second behind Trelawney. And I just worry around his finishing effort in this race. You then got Phil Door. He's caught the eye a couple of times staying on well at the finish. But again, I'd have a bit of an attitude problem with him. Jungle Boogie. He won 2 times over an intermediate trip for Willie Mullins, but so far in his 3 runs for Henry de Bromhead, he's ran over 2 miles and he's ran over 3 miles and 3 mile 2. I thought this intermediate trip would probably suit him, but the one I'm going to go for is James de Burley. He's currently 5-2 with Boylesports, and he looked as if he was going to win the Topham last season. I thought he just got a bit lonely after the elbow at Aintree in the Topham, and then fell when still going well at the Punchestown Festival behind Let's Go Champ. This will be his reappearance, but he did win fresh 2 seasons ago. He's top of the figures on weight adjusted figures. So if you look at it, he's rated £3 higher than Iroko, and they run off level weights in this. He actually gets weight from the other 2 Irish runners, even though he's rated higher than them. And I'm hoping that he can give Daryl Jacob a winner on ITV Racing following his return from his injury. Yeah,
quite an interesting race. Barry, how would you read it?
First of all, Dave, I think you're looking sharp in that EJ Menswear suit. A little bit more sharper than the Taylor bundle, but don't forget that's going for $2.99. Brilliant to have Steve on the way on the show as well. Big fan of those weekly shows, of course, on Oddschecker. So if anyone hasn't seen them, make sure head over and take a look on a weekly basis. But just, the 150, I think no matter what horse you put up here, Dave, you could easily say, you could basically say you're a brave man, because each of the 4 here haven't been the most consistent. But I actually would be a little bit more in favour of Iroko for a race like this. I know Steve has mentioned the Grand National, but he's only 6 years of age. I just think there could be a little bit more to come before we start talking Grand Nationals with Iroko, despite the trainer's comments. Look, he's a Martin Pipe winner at the Cheltenham Festival a couple of seasons ago, Grade 1 placed over hurdles, and we saw last year he's obviously Grade 1 placed over fences as well, albeit at entry at the back end of the season. But look, he jumps quite well. What he done last year, I thought, was actually quite good for a horse that had an interrupted campaign. You know, he finished 5th in the Turner's Novice. You could argue how strong has that form actually worked out. But Jello was in the race, and so is Grey Dawning. And I mean, he's favoured for the King George at this moment in time as we're recording. So I just think he's the horse definitely with the most upside. Process of elimination, Phil Dore have question marks about, you know, has he really kicked on as a chaser? James de Burley, I think, has been very, very frustrating. I think he's recorded 1 victory in his entire career, and I think he wants the ground a little bit softer. And obviously, Jungle Boogie is a 10-year-old now, not getting any younger. So I just think Iroko, 13-8. I think he's a solid one in here, shaped well at Haydock on his return, and I'm going to side with him for a big run over the intermediate distance. But I think you're brave no matter who you side with here. It wouldn't be an overly strong shout, but Iroko gets the nod.
Yeah, I think so. I think it's one of those races, isn't it, that if any one of the 4 win, you're not going to be overly surprised. But an intriguing race, no doubt, for that contest in Ascot. Right, let's move on. We're going to look at our second contest, which, of course, is the 225. It is the Grade 1 action, Barry, on Saturday. Gordon Elliott, JP McManus, the Wall Park in here. And I was hugely impressed by the performance. Obviously, this is a big step up in class on Saturday. But could this horse, the Wall Park, have all of the potential and have all the tools in the locker to make into a graded horse?
I muted myself, Dave. I'm back. Yeah, he turned into a little bit of a winning machine, hasn't he, the Wall Park? And obviously, we'll see how good he's really progressed this weekend. Mark Walsh coming over to take the ride. A positive. Just looking at the race itself, though, the top rated in here, strong leader. And I think rightfully so, he's the favourite at 9-4. I think, look, even though it does look a trappy enough contest, you could make a case for plenty of them improving. I suppose Newbury performance, I was quite impressed with what he done. You know, that's a good trial typically as well for the Ascot Long Walk Hurdle. And look, I suppose if you look what he's done, he's beaten the Temps winner in Monmoral, giving him weight. I just thought it was a good performance. Ollie's 20% at the moment, obviously stable, banging form. And I think this horse is still unexposed over 3 miles. He's 2 from 3 over the 3 mile distance. A Grade 1 winner, of course, last season at the Aintree Festival. And I think there's more to come. So strong leader, 9-4. I wouldn't be rushing to oppose him. I think he'll run his race and I think he'll be banged there.
Yeah, Steve, just going on getting your thoughts on this race. Firstly, what about the Wall Park? How impressed were you by that victory at Cheltenham over 2 miles 7 last time? And I suppose, secondly, your read and thoughts on how this race should play out.
Yeah, this is obviously going to be his first run out of Handicap Company. He was impressive last time. This actually, I think, according to my figures, is going to be, well, if he wins, he'll be the first Irish winner since 1997 to win this. So, but I just think it's a strong contest. We've moaned around the field sizes in these Grade 1s in the UK recently, and you've got 10 runners here, and majority of them are in with a chance. I'd agree with Barry around strong leader. I do think he's probably the leading UK contender over this 3 mile trip at the minute. Just since he's stepped up to this 3 miles, he has been impressive. And I don't think he's ever going to win by a huge distance at the finish. He just holds that bit back. And I do think that's what you want in these stayers going forward. I do respect the Wall Park. And we have seen in recent years the likes of Paisley Park obviously step out of Handicap Company and prove themselves at Grade 1 level. Crambo, I'd give a chance to. He's got a really good record fresh. But he obviously concerned you with his finishing efforts at the end of last season at the spring festivals. I'm actually going to take a chance on one of a bit of a wild price here, and that's Beauport. Just scrolling down with Boylesports at the minute, he's 33-1. Now, he runs for the first time over hurdles, for the first time since April 2022. He won here over fences by 31 lengths on his reappearance. They put him up £12 to a mark of 156 over fences. Now, he's rated 148 over hurdles, 156 over fences. If he's capable of running to that mark of 156 over hurdles here, he'd be in with a shout. Strong Leader's only rated 158 over hurdles, so there's technically only got £2 to find on the ratings. Now, that win at Ascot last time was over 3 mile, 5.5 furlongs. Southampton Davies is definitely going to try and make this a stamina test from the front. And I just thought it was a bit overpriced here at around 33 to 1. I thought you could get a few of them at it.
Final race before we head to our first ad break. We're going to look at the 3 Mile Silver Cup Handicap Chase. This is the premier handicap, Steve. What do you like in the race?
So one of the big price on the last race. I'm with the favourite here. I thought Victorino had a fantastic chance here. He has a superb record at the track. He's only £1 higher than beaten Yeah Man in this last season. That rival's now rated £12 higher. He won the Grand National Trial at Haydock and finished third in the Troy Town on his first start this season. Now, he was only fourth behind 3 under through 5 here in February. He was getting £6 that day. He gets £12 from that rival in this race. Victorino also has the benefit of a recent run. That was that really eye-catching run in the Coral Gold Cup. It looked as if he was going to get pulled up at one stage. He then stayed on really well at the finish. I think he'd jumped much, much better at Ascot. When he was disappointed at Cheltenham previously, he jumped poorly as well. I just think he really suits these Ascot fences and going right-handed. It's a bit of a stronger race than what I thought it was going to be earlier on in the week. I have backed him at kind of bigger prices. I'd still be with him at 2 to 1. I wasn't expecting Trelawney to be declared for this. He beat Iroko, who was spoken around previously, on his reappearance. I think the 3 mile trip will suit him as well. 3 under through 5, I just have a concern with him fresh. He's been beaten the last 3 seasons on his reappearance at odds of 10 to 11, 11 to 4, and 3 to 1. So that would be a slight question mark with him. The Changing Man looked an exciting novice last season, has form tying in with Stay Away Faye and Grey Dawning. But I never like it when a horse goes up in the weights for a defeat. He's up £5 for that second in the rehearsal chase last time. Sam Twiston-Davies is an interesting booking. He's 1 from 4 for Joe Tizard this season. But I am with the favourite. I'm with Victorino. I do think he'll prove hard to beat.
And Barry, I know the Changing Man, which I think you quite like the Changing Man's chances in this one.
I do, yeah, and I'm keeping the faith, Dave, and I take Steve's point just in relation to obviously going up in the weights for not winning, but the pair of them, both the Changing Man and Pharaoh Bamboo, I think pulled 18 lengths clear in the third. I just think it looked a strong piece of form. Came down when going very, very well in the Badger Beers, and coming into Newcastle, the rehearsal chase. I'm hoping it was the rehearsal for the big performance of the victory. Finally over fences for the Changing Man. I just think he could be very, very well handicapped up 135. Steve did mention, of course, the novice form from last season, sandwiched in between Stay Away Faye, Grade 1 winner at the Cheltenham Festival of Hurdles, and obviously Grey Dawning, and he's favoured for the King George. On that line of form, he must be well handicapped here, and the ground is going to suit him. Again, he carries less than 11 stone, 10 stone 8 here. Sam Twiston-Davies, I'm hoping he can get a tune out of him. And look, and keeping the faith, Dave, given the shape of the race, I mean, I have question marks here in relation to, Dr. Ken, the French horse. How good is that form? And 3 under through 5 here, first time up, I think it's a big, big ask in a race like this. I do respect Victorino, but best bet of the weekend. Let's get on with it, Dave. Nat pick the Changing Man. He has to be well handicapped at 135.
It's a nice way to lead us into our very first ad break on the show. We'll be back with our final 2 races in this week's Fivecast.
Yes, so hello, Barry Doyle from the Champ.ie podcast, Ireland's Funny Horse Racing Podcast. I'm here with my co-host, David Byrnes, and we're here in Sligo Town, David, in EJ Menswear, and EJMenswear.com. Fantastic season ahead. EJ has kindly partnered up with us to be the men's fashion partner with Champ.ie for the season. And David, we're suited and booted. You're looking sharp.
Yeah, well, thanks very much. And this fantastic bundle and this outfit we're wearing is costing $2.99. It sets you up beautifully for the racing season ahead, which includes Leopardstown at Christmas, Thyestes Day at Gowran Park, and of course, if you want to go even bigger, you can get togged out for the Cheltenham and entry festivals later on in the season.
Absolutely, and of course, check out the Champ.ie podcast right throughout the season, Mondays and Thursdays, and look at the offer, the tailored bundle for the racing season, $2.99, blazer, shirt, chino, socks and shoes. What's not to like, lads? Check out EJMenswear.com to find out all the racing offers.
Yes, great offers and a great course opportunity as well. If you haven't done your Christmas shopping yet, go on to ejmenswear.com. A superb selection of clothing available, and I'm sure you'll find plenty to suit you. Right, lads, we'll move on because we've 2 more races to look at in our Fivecast selection. And the next one we're going to look at is, of course, the 3:35, that race at Ascot on Saturday. And this, again, quite another very, very interesting race, this 3:35. Barry, firstly, get your thoughts on this, because Dysart Enos last time was very fancied to win, didn't do the business. And when you look at the opposition this week, it looks a cracking renewal. Be Aware finished in front for the Skeltons last time. So this reads, and we've got, of course, the Scottish Champion Hurdle winner in Favour and Fortune. 10-1, Barry. This overpriced?
I think so, and I think Steel Alley as well for the Sam Thomas team as well could be overpriced. Just looking, I suppose, at the form of Favour and Fortune last year, we were discussing this earlier. Ran a good race, didn't it? To finish, was it 6th in the Supreme, was 2nd in the Tolworth, both Grade 1s last year on soft ground. Alan King did say that this horse has a lovely action and wants nicer ground, and all his, I suppose, looking at his form last year, all his runs were on softer, heavy ground. So this horse could really improve. This particular race as well, it tends to favour the more classier types. I mean, 7 of the last 10 winners carry 11 stone or more. Lucia won the race last year. We were quite keen on her chances. Again, the ground, I think, could be key to Favour and Fortune's chances. Carrying that sort of weight, I think the ground could see this horse in a better light. And look, I suppose just looking at the Scottish Champion Hurdle form from last season, he only carries 3 pounds higher, and he's won fresh in the past as well. Alan King's runners are actually going well, so I would give him a big chance here each way. It is my pick at odds of you said 11-1. I think that's more than fair for each way purposes. The one I suppose I would respect in here is Be Aware, a relay catcher in the of course in the Greatwood Hurdle, finishing 2nd to Burnett Road. Came from off the pace. I'd say there's more to come. The harder they go, the better his chance, because he will come home strongly. And yeah, I wouldn't be with the Dysart Dinos now. I didn't think she'd much excuses last time. So the danger for me, Be Aware. But Favour and Fortune, I just think is overpriced at 11-1, 12-1.
Steve, your thoughts firstly on Dysart Dinos. Were you disappointed with that run last time out? And would you be in agreement with Barry, or do you believe the Fergal O'Brien's runner could be a big danger on Saturday?
I do think she could be a big danger. You obviously look back at her bumper form, and it's top class. And I'd just give her a bit of an excuse that she was a bit fresh. You need to remember that it was 294 days off the track before this reappearance. It's the first time that Johnny Burke was actually riding her as well. My one concern with her is that she's inclined to jump a bit left-handed. So changing to this right-handed track at Ascot would be an inconvenience to her. Just touching on that Favour and Fortune, like I do really respect him. That Scottish Champion Hurdle is working out really well. If you look at the horses in behind there, Cracking Rhapsody, Low Desert and Rebo have all won so far this season. So that's received multiple form boosts. If we then look at Be Aware, I'd have a slight concern about him in a finishing effort, to be honest. If you look at the distances that he's been beaten a neck, a length, half a length and half a length last time in the Greatwood Hurdle. So whether he's fully going through with that effort late on would be a slight question mark around that, as well as the Skeltons no doubt having that big circle around the calendar for the County Hurdle in March. I was actually going to take a flyer on one in this, and it's Our Champ. Now, the Boylesports traders are quite clever here. They've got him in at 22-1. There are bigger prices out there currently, but if you look back at his form, he beat Break My Soul by a nose over this course and distance in November off a mark of 131. Secret Squirrel, who's 5-1 for this race, was 3.5 lengths back in third that day. He then finished third in the Jury Field and at Newbury, and that run can be massively upgraded. Go back and watch it again. If you remember, the 3 that were at the front that day got a break on the rest of the field. They just went off far too hard. It was himself, Excelero and Bally. If you look at the finishing positions of those 3, Bally finished 13th of 13, beaten 52 lengths. Excelero was finished 9th of beaten 14 lengths. Our Champ stuck around right at the finish, finished third, beating only 5 lengths. So he did so well from going off too hard at the start of the race. He had poor form at Newbury prior to that race. He's much better at Ascot. He's only £1 higher in this race, and he's 22-1. I thought that was a bit of a crazy price, to be honest.
Yeah, looks a bit of crack in each way value, doesn't it, in that contest? Right. We will move on to our final race that we're going to look at then, which, of course, comes at Haydock on Saturday. It is the 205, and it is the Tommy Whittle Handicap Chase. And this, again, has a cracking look to it. Might come to you on this one first, Steve. What do you like in the Tommy Whittle?
Just going through the favourite, it's understandable why they've got him. Why Boylesports have got him favourite at 3-1 Famous Bridge. He obviously won the race last year off a mark of 135, only £2 higher this year. He's got really good Haydock form. Yeah, you can see he finished second on his reappearance at Kelso. That'll put him spot off on this. So he's a worthy favourite for me. I'd be against Eat Street. He's the progressive one, 3 from 3 since the application of Advisor for James Owen. No doubt better over fences than hurdles, so you can kind of excuse his effort last time. But He's been winning in Class 4 company in 0 to 115 handicaps. This is a Class 2 0 to 145. I just worry, and I think he's underpriced at around 7 to 2. I'm going to take a chance on Regal Blue here, looking at it. 9 to 1 with Boylesports currently at the time of recording. I took a chance on him last time at Bangor. After one fence, I was just kicking myself. It was strange because he was really well backed, but he'd run terribly on his reappearance the year before, and once again has ran terribly on his reappearance. But if you look at him, his form figures are P1, P1, P. So on the sequence, he's just going to win, isn't it? If you look back at his form, seriously, he actually beat the changing man at Utoxeter by 1 1/4 lengths. Obviously, Barry likes him for the Silver Cup. The pair pulled 22 lengths clear of the third that day, and there was a further 22 lengths clear of the fourth. My concern in the run-up to this race was the ground. They were calling it good to soft at Haydock. They had plenty of rain. I think it's now soft heavy in places, which will suit Regal Blue right down to the ground. That was off a mark of 126. He's only £5 higher here. The changing man is now £9 higher. So on that collateral form, he's arguably well handicapped. And yeah, around 9 to 1, I'd be going with Regal Blue. But I would go win only. With those form figures, he's either going to pull up or he'll win.
Boylesports. Don't just bet. Choose wisely.
It's live on horseback. Sam Thomas, of course, Gold Cup winning jockey. Sam, rolling in the years of Den, man. What a day he gave you.
Yeah, no, mega. A long time ago now, but yeah, what an amazing horse he was. And yeah, it's only now I'm training, you realise how hard they are to come by. He was just a bit special, and yeah, great to have been associated with him.
Sam, just looking at your training career, obviously over 30% strike rate at the moment, currently in the current season, and over 200,000 in prize money. You've certainly been known as the man who can target one for a Saturday handicap.
No, it's very, very kind, but yeah, look, we are lucky. We have got nice horses. They're probably at a stage now where they're sort of, a lot of them are out of the novice stage. So yeah, they're up into handicaps. This is the time where you find out how good they are, really. So yeah, we've had a good start to the year. Our Dancer was a real highlight for us. Been a real flag bearer over the years, certainly for his owner and for myself over the last couple of years since I've been training him. So yeah, look, we're very lucky, and long may it continue.
And I suppose, speaking of Al Dancer, good place to start. Fantastic in the Badger Beers. He seemed to really enjoy himself.
Yeah, he's just a dude, really. Like, he's 11, he's going to be 12 there next month. Unfortunately, he's retired, picked up an injury from the Badger Beer, but look, you know, that's what you always dream as a trainer. Those horses can do. You train them, you know, the best you can to produce them on the day, and to go and see them enjoying themselves like that, it's great, really.
And I suppose, looking at a horse, looking at Al Dancer and looking at, I suppose, the Badger Beers, how far in advance does Sam Thomas set his sights on a big handicap like that? How far out, like, are you planning for a race like that?
Well, I mean, if I'm honest, it's a really long summer for us because we don't have anything to do in terms of racing much, you know. So, look, you can sort of plan ahead with those big races because you know what time of year they're going to be. The calendar doesn't come out sort of until sort of 6 weeks before the start of October, so you can't go too mad. But with those big races, we certainly know where they are in history. And with our Dancer, there certainly, you know, there weren't many options, to be honest. Like, he's best going left-handed, believe it or not. So, you know, Wincanton wasn't our initial starting point. And yeah, we had about 2 or 3 races in mind. If we didn't go to the Badger Beer, didn't have actually that many options going forward for another month, I think. So it just all fell into place at the right time. And yeah, look, it's sort of nice when you have got those good horses that you can target those big races, and that makes the job even more enjoyable.
Speaking of big horses, speaking of big races, the Fighting Fifth, Lump Sum, he's been a good servant, a Grade 2 winner, but this time second to Sir Gino. That was a good run. Yeah, great run, and we were going there, like, being very realistic, Barry. You know, we knew what we were taking on, the task ahead, and we were delighted with our lad. You know, if we had 150 horses, then we might just have minded him and put him away for a big handicap, but we don't. We have 30 horses, and they're all here to run and to pay their way, if that makes sense. So yeah, we'll hopefully not ruin his handicap mark going forward, because I do think there's a big handicap in him. Maybe, you know, we'll try and run him in the Betfair if we can in February. But he's been a great horse. He's always shown us plenty. If you had a yard full of authorised, you'd be very, very happy. Steel Alley, he's entered up this weekend. It's your only runner, I do believe, at Ascot. How is he?
He's in great form. He's not over big, but he's just an absolute warrior. Like, he's just a bit like our dancer. You know, you wouldn't think it at home, but on the track, he's jogging down at the start. He wants to get on with it. He likes being up front. And he's, again, just a real, very likable horse. How good he is, we're not too sure. Like, he's got a, you know, if he goes and wins this on Saturday, then, you know, you realistically got to be looking at graded races with him. So it's going to be another tough ask off top weight, back to 2 miles. I'm glad to see there's a bit of rain, but I'd imagine he'll put up a bold show, and hopefully the handicapper hasn't quite caught up with us yet.
And Dylan Johnson, I mean, this young man is really making strides. You struck up a really good partnership with Dylan, taking off the £3. He's a big bonus.
Absolutely. Like in the summer, Mr. Walters and myself, we had a big chat, and you know, as is the case in Ireland and in England, I'm sure it's so hard to get really good staff. And we felt to try and boost that side of things at home as well. We'd get a top conditional on that could be here 4 or 5 days a week. And obviously ride them on the track as well. And like, yeah, we couldn't have dreamt how well it's gone, to be honest. He's a top man, very dedicated, certainly probably a bit more dedicated than I was when I was his age anyway. He's not in the pub, he's looking at the form, and yeah, we're very lucky to have him. He's got a good head on young shoulders, and he's doing a great job for us. Yeah, so we're very lucky.
Sounds like you're excited about this horse on Saturday. Is this where the Christmas money is coming from?
I don't know, Barry. Like, the way he did it at Haydock, he was so impressive, and you know, albeit over a little bit further. That's my only slight concern. Back on some nicer ground and back in trip, you know, it will be tough for him. Like, they'll be snapping at his heels for a long way out, I'm sure. But we do run a nice bumper horse on Friday, actually, at Ascot, Dr. Blue. He won first time out for us at Taunton there just over 3 weeks ago. And yeah, I think they went very slow, sprinted in the last sort of 2-3 furlongs. I would hope it's not taking much out of him, and I'd imagine he'll come forward a lot. So fingers crossed he'll run a big race too.
Tell us about Celtic Dino as well, Sam. He looks a really smashing prospect.
Yeah, he's so green, and I wouldn't say backwards, but like, he's a real baby mentally still as well. You know, we don't have 40 horses out of string and whatnot, so he's always in a small little string. So it's just taking him a while to I suppose just come and mature, but I suppose he's still doing it on the track and doing it in the nice way where he's a little bit green, and you'd hope that means there's improvement hopefully to be had every time we keep going back to the racecourse. So he's definitely one that we wouldn't want to run on soft, or softer than soft, should I say. I don't think. He's the most beautiful mover, like covers the ground like you wouldn't believe. Wincanton was, you know, just safe ground at the start of the season, and he was unbelievable that day. Like, he just pings along on top of that good ground. So yeah, again, we don't know how good he's going to be, Barry. He's going to have an entry for the 26th in the Formby at Aintree, and I'm sure there'll be some very smart horses there. And again, we wouldn't run him if it was too soft, to be honest, because, like, you know, we know he's a nice horse, and you know, there's lots of targets for him in the spring, really, you know. So, but yeah, he could be a very nice horse for the future. Hopefully a top 2 mile chaser as well.
I was going to say, look, of all the nice young horses you've had over the last couple of years, how does he rank?
It's funny because he's not flashy at home, if that makes sense. He just does his stuff. The one that I always thought was going to be a good horse was Lump Sum, because he's quite a nippy, speedy type, so he's always shown that. But I think he's got to be right up there with the best we've had, to be honest. Yeah, definitely on what he's doing on the track anyway. I know he's only ran twice over hurdles, but like, he's doing what he's doing now, like I say, and he's still green, really, which is exciting, you know. He's definitely still green. He's got loads to learn. Yeah, fingers crossed we can look after him. There's no reason why he can't keep going the way he is.
I will do it. Give you a big win, of course, in the Welsh National 2 seasons ago. You've 3 entered up this year on the 27th.
Yeah, I will do it. Just been an amazing servant for us. Yeah, he won it in 2021. Unfortunately, during COVID, so there was no crowd there, so that was a bit disappointing. But it doesn't take any shine off the performance. He was brilliant then, and obviously up in the weights now. So going to be tougher for him. He's probably just starting to feel his age a little bit, and I wouldn't think there'll be, you know, many big races in him. So we've kept him fresh on purpose. He's in a really good place. He's happy. He looks well. And I'd say he'll run a really big race again. You know, it just depends what's lurking in there that's a bit more progressive and got less weight ultimately. But we're looking forward to him. Jubilee Express. I'd have loved to have had a prep run, to be honest. He's a burly horse. He's not overly big, but he's very deep chested and like takes every bit of work you can throw at him. And we had him in at Fontwell in their national a while back, but the ground was too quick. Didn't get a run into him and whatnot. So yeah, he'll go there, and he's one which will definitely improve for the run. But I'm hoping we've just about got enough work into him for that, But
Good risk at all, has he gone?
Yeah, that's the plan at the minute. Yeah, he's he's got a few question marks to answer on the back of two runs last season. Really, we just had to tinker away with a few things over the summer with him. He seems a lot happier, and he could be a very, very good horse over fences if he just gets his mind to it.
Wish you all the very best in the Welsh National once again, Sam. And of course, this upcoming weekend. For Champ.ie listeners tuning into the podcast today, best chance of a winner over the Christmas period?
Oh, I forgot about Range. Yeah, I didn't mention Range. He runs on the 26th as well at Kempton. Won last time over fences. I think he's very progressive. He runs on a 2-5 chase at Kempton. I think he's definitely going the right way, and I think could be hard to beat off top weight.
Gowran Park Racecourse, the premier racetrack in the southeast of Ireland, is located on the outskirts of Kilkenny City. Gowran Park is your number one choice for corporate days out, stag and hen party events, and an overall great local racing experience. Known as the race that stops the county, the famous Goffs Thyestes Chase 2025 takes place on Thursday the 23rd of January. With packed crowds expected once again this January, you can book your early bird tickets online today. Visit GowranPark.ie online, click the link in the Champ.ie podcast video description, or scan the QR code on screen to purchase right now. Eddie and the team look forward to welcoming you to Gowran Park this winter.
150 yards to go, Glengooley, and ain't that a shame from Angel's Dawn? Ain't that a shame is going on to win the Goffs Thyestes, pulling out every stop from Glengooley.
Yes, and of course, save 33% on Goffs Thyestes tickets right up until Christmas Day, all you last-minute shoppers. What a fantastic day in the southeast. And David, we were down there last year. The plan is to go once again. We'll be doing the morning line show, of course, before racing on Goffs Thyestes Day. And we look forward to the build-up, I suppose, in early January. But a real good opportunity, Dave, before Christmas for any last-minute shoppers. Scan the QR code up on screens and save 33% on Goffs Thyestes tickets at Gowran. Dave, great day always.
Yes, absolutely. And if you are planning to go, you should avail of that great offer, because 33%, nothing to be sniffed at. Wonderful to hear as well from Sam Thomas, and good luck to him with all his runners and over the Christmas period as well. Right, before we get best bets and nap selections, lads, Steve, I'll come to you. Anything else over the weekend that you fancy or quite like?
It was just in the 115 Ascot. It's the 0 to 150 handicap chase. Over 2 mile 3, and it was solo. He was entered in the graduation chase, and I've actually fancied him for that, but he had £10 to find on weight adjusted ratings with Iroko in that, so they decided to come here instead. He finished second in that graduation chase last year behind Excello, and prior to that he'd finished second in the Howden Gold Cup behind Elixir de Nuts. So his form kind of tailed off at the end of last season. A few of Paul Nichols's did that, but he ran all right to a point behind Chianti Classico here last time. They kind of explored the 3 mile option with him for the first time, and he just didn't get the trip. That was off a mark of 147. He's been dropped a couple of pounds down to a mark of 145. That's his lowest mark since beating That's Alright Gino at Kempton. He just loves going right-handed. This drop down to 2 mile 3 furlongs should definitely suit him. Forecast prices are slightly dangerous to obviously then take on trust, but he's around 6 to 1 in the forecast prices. I'd have him a bet at anything above 4 to 1.
There's 2 at Thurles I think could be very interesting. Henry de Bramhead's Magic Day with Rachel Blackmore on board in the 120 at Thurles on Saturday. And also Sequoia Spirit, if that runs in the 305 at Thurles, give that a very, very good shout. Ray Hackett's runner has some really good form. The performance last time was really good, and I think if it can come on again for that, it'll be very hard to beat. Barry, what else do you like for the weekend?
Good friend of the podcast, Thomas Kyle, has won in Dundalk in the 6:45 on Friday night. A horse called Tomahawk King. I think, look, I just love this last 2 runs. It's having its 3rd start for the stable after transferring from Mickey Fenton, and stepping back up and trip to Moylan 4 furlongs, and the champion apprentice Jimmy Ryan booked for the ride. Drawn as well in a nice handy draw as well. Stall number 2 or number 3, I believe. So it's drawn nicely. And I just said there's more to come from that. Tomahawk King. Yeah, just to mention as well, Dave Thomas, what a fantastic season he's had with a small number of horses and seems to be getting the best out of them. So Tomahawk King on Friday night in the 6:45 in Dundalk. That's the other one to mention. And hopefully we can land some Christmas dough with that one.
Hopefully so. Well, if we haven't landed by then, we're going to try certainly to land you some dough with our naps and next best. And as our special guest this week, Steve, we're going to give you first dibs with your nap and next best selection.
Yeah, well, knowing that Barry's going to go in the Silver Cup for his best bet, I'll avoid that. I'll have Victorino as my next best in the Silver Cup. I just think that return to Ascot, a pound higher than winning the race last season. But my best bet, I've had 2 bets so far for Saturday. And our Champ is the one that I like at a huge price, around 22 to 1 with Boylesports for that 2-mile handicap hurdle. Just go back and watch and see how he managed to finish 3rd in that Jerry Fielden last time from racing far too keenly with the other 2 at the front of affairs. So our Champ for me with Freddie Gordon taking off a handy few pounds as well. So our Champ for me, 22 to 1 in that handicap hurdle.
Barry, what do you like? Next best and nap?
We're going to go the changing man as the nap and next best each way. Tomahawk King on Friday night in Dundalk. We'll go a little bit early this week. I do think Strong Leader run well, but that looks a very competitive long walk hurdle. I think it's the one to beat, but I won't be putting it in the nap or next best. It's just 2 for me this week, Dave. Tomahawk King, 6:45 at Dundalk each way with James Ryan on board. And the nap pick of the weekend. We're keeping the faith. The changing, it has to be with a handicap. See, Dave?
Absolutely right. Well, if you haven't got a Christmas present yet, Stephen Thorne will be joining us right after our ad break, and he'll give you some details on how you can get involved in Shamrock Thoroughbreds. So stay tuned for that, and he'll also be talking you through some of his chances on Friday night. That's right after this.
From Dundalk to Longchamp, from the Galway races to the Breeders' Cup, Shamrock Thoroughbreds have taken owners all over the world.
Tiger Bell in front, holds them. Late on the scene is Dawn Charger storming home, but Tiger Bell in front and won.
Coming through the centre, Laugh a Minute with a strong challenge on this Laugh a Minute, who goes on in the closing stages to win by a length and a half. Laugh a Minute from Fiscal Roots.
But it's Harry's Bar repelling the late challenge of the stable companion Dream Today, and Harry's Bar makes it 6-course win.
Check out shamrockthoroughbreds.com or click the link in the Champ.ie podcast video description to learn more about new racehorse ownership opportunities.
Yes, a very happy Christmas to Stephen Thorne Racing and, of course, Shamrock Thoroughbreds. It's been a great start to the training career thus far, Stephen. And, of course, three winners, 14 placed ever since you took out your licence. Things are going very well.
Yes, exactly. Thanks, Barry. Couldn't be any happy with how things have gone. Little less than 8 weeks now since we took it out. And, just delighted with how things have gone. And, nice to get a couple of winners on the board and plenty of placed horses. And looking forward to the new year.
Really enjoying this blog, Stephen, on a weekly basis. It's good to follow, I suppose, the stable runners every single, Wednesday and Friday. We had racing at Dundalk, of course, on Friday as well. And keeping a close eye on Pink Oxalis. Look, she ran a good race on her stable debut, but she's just been narrowly denied another second, Stephen. Hate to bring it up, but she was second at Dundalk, of course, on Wednesday night, but she's running another cracker.
Exactly. Look at the stall one got us into a bit of trouble last night. And she just broke okay and ended up on the back foot early on. And James had to, think on his feet there in the straight and, got a nice run up to the middle of them. But, I thought she was a little unlucky now. She was strong at the line and hopefully there'll be a nice opportunity there for her in January. She looks a winner waiting to happen. And she's for new clients there, international clients in Saudi Arabia of all places. But, hopefully now we'll get a result for those people in January.
And I was going to say, look, it was 7 furlongs last night. She seemed to do her best work at the finish. Back up to a mile, would that be the plan?
Yeah, like the first night we ran her, we probably rode her a little bit too forward over the mile. So I just, maybe last night's run, the fact that she was kind of working into the race late on, we'll probably ride her for a little bit of luck the next night over the mile, and we'll see how we get on there. But more than likely, if there's no opportunity over 7, we'll step back up to the mile trip and ride her a little cold like we did last night. And I think she'll be one of my first winners in January, please God.
Now, is Santa Claus going to come on Friday night? Obviously, you have 3 entries at Dundalk. Is the Christmas money coming this Friday?
Yeah, look at the obviously the story of my first winner, say if you will. We bought her very cheap in the horse training sales back in August. Obviously she ran very well the first night, then she refused to load. We had to iron a few things out with her, and she won the claiming race, which was my part of my first two winners in Dundalk there with the night with the double, and we lost her in the claiming race. So we got her back then when she finished fourth in the next claimer. So she's back in the same colours tomorrow night, and I'm looking forward to her. I think she's slightly underexposed over that mile trip. A lot of her wins in England was over 7, but she's quite underexposed over the mile trip, and I thought she won the claiming race quite well. Lumping top weight around in that race that day. So she's top weight tomorrow in the mile, but it's an apprentice race. James Ryan knows her well, and provided she loads and everything else and does things right, I think she could be the one tomorrow. Yeah.
Let's hope Santa Claus can deliver for Shamrock Thoroughbreds 2025, Stephen. Obviously, we mentioned Artful Approach, a Galway Festival winner already. There was small shares, I believe, left in the horse last week when we were speaking. What about now? Is there still availability?
Yeah, he's nearly sold out now at this stage. He's gone down extremely well with all my shareholders. And we've got well over 50% sold now to new investors, new people, which is what it's all about, like getting new people involved. And the belief that I have in this syndicate, the word of mouth has traveled fast the last couple of years, and it is growing all the time. It's a proven source of finding stakes winners, being able to race on the big festival days. It's what it's all about, to travel internationally, and that's what this syndicate has done. Travel to the Breeders' Cup, Saudi Arabia, Dubai. They have been everywhere. France, the UK, Royal Ascot, you name it. These shareholders have been to all these places, and we've had stakes winners, group winners, 2-year-old group winners, older stakes horses as well, Premier Handicap winners, on all the festival days. So it is a proven source of fun and enjoyment, great days out. It's a good networking opportunity, because there's a lot of high profile business people involved, right down to the hard-working ordinary man. And we've shares available to suit all budgets, which is the unique part about this. And it's not a club feel. It's it's an equity share model. 5%, 10%. Everyone gets in at a level that they wish to invest in. And as I said, this Artful Approach horse, a proven Galway Festival winner, and we've only got a share or two left, and that will be gone before Christmas. Have no doubt. We'll have a couple of new horses for sale in the new year, so just keep an eye out on our websites, shamrockthoroughbreds.com, and hopefully we'll get some fresh people involved to be part of what will be my sort of first full season next year as a trainer in 2025. I'm very much looking forward to it.
And now let's see full details on Artful Approach. Tell us about Artful Approach.
Another horse that we bought the other day at the sales, fresh horse. And again, another horse that won in Galway, and our shareholders love having runners down there. So he's a horse now that we would put away as well. Handles good ground and slow ground, and has the form around Galway. So he's a very obvious horse, and I'm sure he'll go down well with our shareholders.
Inside the final 100 yards, Louis Cole with Artful Approach, lunging in the centre. Cuban Confusion, the stand side. Artful Approach wins it from Cuban Confusion. Louis Cole.
Well, it's a win for Artful Approach, first career win for.
Yes, absolutely. Great opportunities, and it was wonderful there as well to hear from Stephen Thorne. Good luck with those runners in Dundalk on Friday night. Well, that's another Champ.ie show coming to an end. Barry, as always, massive thank you to you, and to Steve Ryder, of course, the producer of the Oddschecker Weekly podcast. Don't forget, earlier than usual next week, we will be recording our Christmas special, and we will be looking ahead to all of the big races. We've got Gordon Elliott to come on the show for Christmas. That's going to be interesting to hear his thoughts. And we've got plenty other special guests as well coming on our Christmas edition. Steve, many thank you for joining us this week. It's been a pleasure, and good luck with the punting this weekend and over the Christmas. And thank you for your time this week.
Thank you very much, lads. Good luck to you too.
Dave, just to mention as well, the 5-cast, the December draw, right? We are going to do it on our Christmas special. So get your 5-cast in, obviously today, and get your 5-cast in for our Christmas 5-cast, which will be, I believe it'll be published on the 23rd, Dave, in the afternoon around 5 p.m. So look forward to hearing from Gordon on the show. More special guests, as you mentioned, coming up. And Steve, keep up the good work. Great show every single week on the Oddschecker Show.
And we will see you early next week with our Christmas edition. Bye for now.